There was an interesting piece in Time magazine last week. This guy named Tal Fortgang said, "I'll never apologize for my white privilege." And I read his piece this morning, and I was like, this is the most shallow. I mean, this guy, I don't think, understands white privilege. He's talking about how his parents were Holocaust survivors, and they pulled themselves up from their bootstraps when they came to America, and isn't that a wonderful thing? And so I wanted to get Daniel José Older back on the program. We talked somewhat about this topic the last time when we were talking about this white savior narrative that we find in so many movies, Django and whatnot. Daniel, welcome back to the program.
Thank you. It is always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. I should add, you are a writer, editor, composer, contributor over at Salon.com, and your website is ghoststar, GHOSTSTAR.net. Do I have all that right?
That's right.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Cool. So,
where to even begin? Right?
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, as an old white guy, it's really only been in the later part of my life that I came to understand that one of the biggest privileges associated with white privilege is never wondering if things have happened to me because of my race.
Right.
Is not wondering, did that waiter give me a bad table because of my race? Did that taxi driver not pick me up because of my race? Did I not get that job or that apartment because of my race? I've never in my life wondered that, and that's the experience of most middle-class white people. And therefore they don't. It doesn't even occur to them that that's white privilege. Let me toss that to you.
Which is in itself a privilege.
Yeah, it's in and of itself huge. I mean, it's huge. It's like the quality, your quality of life. I mean. So.
Right, because people of color have been having the privilege conversation since the dawn of race and all of our lives. So there is that disconnect right off the bat.
Right. So I'm assuming you had an opportunity to read this guy's piece too.
I did, unfortunately.
So, first of all, he would not come on the program. We invited him on, and he's like, but I just want to put it out there that we gave him an opportunity to come on and speak for himself. So I don't feel bad about talking about him. Typically, I don't talk about people who aren't here to defend themselves. But if they explicitly turn down an opportunity to do so,
that's on them.
Yeah, I'm not going to trash him, but I'm just saying. But basically, what I read into this was much of my family died in the Holocaust. My grandparents survived and came over here. And they were poor, and they pulled themselves up by their bootstraps, and so did my parents, and so did I. And I'm in a Ivy League college, and why should I apologize for that? And why should I check my privilege? Am I accurately characterizing his piece, in your opinion?
I think that was an excellent rendition of what he said.
Okay, so
that covers it.
So can you deconstruct that? I mean, what's wrong with that?
Well, there's a number of things that are happening here. First off, I think we got to begin with the fact that, and you alluded to this already, but the prose is appalling. It's really a poorly written article. There's a lot of overwriting, and there's no analysis really happening. There's a lot of shallowness. But it's here on Time magazine, and that alone speaks to a whole lot of privilege happening, because I know plenty of writers of color who write 8 million times better than this on Twitter every day and many other places, and they're not showing up on Time magazine.
Yeah.
Time actually plucked this out of a college paper.
Yeah.
So let's begin there. Beyond that, I think the idea that anybody has asked him to apologize, he sort of makes this jump from being called out on his privilege to this concept of apology. The conversation about privilege isn't about people apologizing. It's about people taking ownership and responsibility of what's gotten them there.
Right.
It's about having an institutional analysis, and what he's done is made it very, very personal and very individual. And that is the constant kind of, siren song of privilege. Is like, it's all about me, and let me tell you why it's all about me, and therefore, ergo this, that, and the other. And no one was really talking about him. We were talking about the institutions that got him there and why that matters.
Right. And I mean, what was he missing? If you could speak to him, what would you say?
Man, where to begin, like I said. I mean, I think it's about stepping back from, like I said, stepping back from his own personal narrative and understanding himself to be a piece of a much larger puzzle than just this one person.
I wanted to say to him, it's. I don't think he understands what white privilege is, and
that's very clear.
Would it be? I mean, I don't know if this is a totally off the wall thing, but if there was a black institution where there was a black power structure and it was a largely black community, or an entire, largely black community, and a white person was there and they were being dissed on a regular basis, or they were not getting ahead and they were not succeeding. And there may be such places, maybe in an all-black college or something. I don't know, but
right.
I frankly doubt it. But because I think that there's awareness, right, of privilege. But could there be black privilege that he could be the victim of?
Well, here's where context really matters. So there's moments where white people will feel excluded, and they will have their feelings hurt about things, and maybe based on their race at times. But that's a whole other conversation from when we're talking about an institutional form of oppression.
Right.
So when we're talking about, we're not just talking about the individual moment of the college either, just like we're not talking about the individual person. It's not about this one school and what's going on there. It's about the larger context of the United States of America, and institutional racism from the beginning.
What you're saying is what I've said for years, and I constantly get into arguments with mostly white people about this, and that is that I say black people can't be racist, because to be a racist, you have to be able to enforce your bigotry. They can be bigoted.
Right.
And
they don't have the institutional backing.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Whereas white people can actually wield the power and do.
Correct. And whether they want to or not. And I think that's where people get caught up, because again, they say, "Oh, but I didn't choose this. I don't want this." It doesn't matter. You have it. It works for you. If it goes into play whenever you feel in danger, whenever you enter a neighborhood for, this reason or that. Those institutions are already set up. So it doesn't matter what you want. You can be against it, and you can be an anti-racist white person. But you don't get to say, well, I don't have to deal with this because it's just not something that I asked for.
Yeah, no.
No one asked for this situation.
Yeah, I'm very clear. I'm very clear about that, and that I'm part of. Well, we're running out of time. Daniel José Older, brilliant. It's always great talking with you, sir.
Always a pleasure, Tom.
Thank you.
Look forward to the next time.
Ghoststar.net is the website, and of course he contributes to Salon.com, writer, editor, composer, and we will be right back.